What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Friday, February 6th, 2026. And we are here with another live here on the Touring Brain Reloaded channel. And this is an unexpected live because, of course, I did not plan to do a live today, but I saw something today that said I have to do this as a live today. We will still have the weekly recap tomorrow as usual, but I had to talk about this today. Before we get into all of that, shout out to everyone that is in the chat so far. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to the members, the mods, everybody on Patreon. If you're on Patreon, you received the video earlier this morning. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and check that out. Shout out to everybody in the Discord. And everywhere else that you are watching me or consume my content, I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure, if you haven't done so already, to go ahead and hit the like button, the share button, and the subscribe button if you are new. And if you are new, I'm glad that you are here. Make sure to hit the bell twice to be notified whenever I upload a new video or go live. Now, before we get into everything, let me acknowledge those who are here in the chat so far or those who came in early. We got Andre, Reparations Nation, Rayvon, Hurricane Nisi, Wallow J, Joseph, Washington High Top Rob, Don P, RJC, Mike Mellis, John, Chris Vesey, JK, Solo T, Gnome King. Oh, you said you in Bangkok, Gnome King. Is that where you live now, or are you there on vacation? We got Mahako, Retro Gemini, Barry Little. She loves fantasy. Shout out to each and every one of you that is in the chat so far, and those of you who have not commented yet. JK just funny. He said how your picture look musty. That's crazy. But yes, today we are going to be talking about the series of tweets that more so Walter than Emerald did, but Emerald did leave a response to it concerning them trying to get remonetized on YouTube. As y'all know or don't know, Fresh and Fit, the podcast, got demonetized back in 2023, I believe. So it's been about it'll be going on 3 years. And it just went all downhill for them. And now they're trying to get reinstated. And Walter went on this 9 tweet rant about them getting remonetized and everything like that. And many people are saying, did Walter even write this? I mean, if you know how Walter is, it doesn't sound like it sounds too coherent. I'll put it like that. And it's hilarious to me because going into the title where it says this is not what taking accountability looks like, not one time do any of them take accountability for what happened to them. They blame it on everybody else, and that's not surprising coming from them, especially from the one on the left side of the screen. So let me not waste any time. Let me go ahead now and share my screen so we can go ahead and get into it. All of this is going to be coming straight off of Twitter because that's where all of this is happening. Let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit so y'all can read along with me. So this is Walter's page, aka Fresh CEO. As you can see, it says 1 of 9 because it's 9 tweets. Some are lengthy as I don't know what, but we got time today. At least I do. So the first one says, YouTube, reinstate Fresh and Fit monetization and stop targeting conservatives. So, of course, they're going to do the whole thing of, they're being targeted because they're conservatives. There are a lot of people on the YouTube platform who are labeled as conservative, but they're not doing the things that they're doing. They're actually actual conservatives, like through to the name. Whatever it is that Walter and especially Emerald are doing is far from that. And, of course, you already know it's going to be littered with free speech this and free speech that. So let's go ahead and continue to go even further into this. It says, we've been demonetized since August 2023. And let me tell you the funny part about that one. I still remember it. They got demonetized the weekend that YouTube pays out, or the weekend, I think it was the weekend of, that YouTube usually pays out its creators. For those who don't know, YouTube usually pays out every 21st of the month unless it's a weekend or a holiday. Of course, if that happens, it'll be the next business day. So say, for example, the 21st is on a Saturday, you won't get paid until that Monday, which is the 23rd. If it's a holiday and the holiday falls on the 21st and it's a weekday, then you'll get paid on the 22nd. But they got demonetized right there, right before they were supposed to get paid. So their last check was July and not August. And they don't reimburse you either. Like if you get cut off, if they turn your monetization off, that you don't get that money. You don't. It says reapplied to the YouTube partner program multiple times, been denied without clear reasons or direct dialogue, so we have been forced to go public. I'm just telling you, this does not sound like something he came up with himself to write. This sounds like a straight up PR statement. And I'm not even halfway through the reading it. It says in January 2026, which was last month, YouTube updated advertiser-friendly guidelines, non-graphic discussions or dramatizations of controversial, sensitive topics such as domestic abuse, sexual harassment, self-harm, taking your life, abortion are now eligible for full ad revenue, which they have been basically found guilty of for a couple of these. YouTube called old rules too restrictive. We restructured to compliant financial content with 0 strikes, yet we're still denied on January 14th, 2026. And then they posted up screenshots from the actual YouTube guidelines, and then they actually posted up a screenshot from ABC News, and this is YouTube relaxes monetization policy on videos with controversial content. So let's continue. So this is the next part. YouTube is losing $1 to $2 million a year in shared revenue. Pre-demonetization, August 2023, Fresh and Fit was the #1 super chatted channel in the US, generating $1 to $2 million a year in super chats. YouTube's 30% cut is $300,000 to $600,000 a year. Demonetization ended that for both sides. If Fresh and Fit were not demonetized, this number could have easily doubled or tripled. Whose fault is that? Blip, I'm telling you, that is exactly what this dude used. If I see a dash in here, then that's what it is. It says YouTube is losing $1 to $3 million a year enforcing outdated rules, while similar channels monetize making the same content. Attached super chat rankings from Playboy Social Blade, #1 in the US AdSense screenshot showing pre-2023 highs. The next one he wrote, YouTube violates own policy to deny Fresh and Fit monetization. YouTube's guidelines explicitly limit YPP or YouTube Partner Program eligibility and review to the submitting channel Fresh and Fit using singular your channel language throughout, with no provision for importing strikes or warnings from non-submitted channels. Direct quotes from YouTube policy: have no active community guidelines placed on your channel. Our automated systems and human reviewers will review your channel as a whole to make sure your channel follows all of our policies and guidelines. Channels will lose monetization when they violate any of the YouTube channel monetization policies, which they've done several times over. They're lucky that they can even still be on the platform altogether. It says Fresh and Fit has 0 strikes, 0 warnings, and full compliance, yet was denied based on 2 harassment warnings debunked below in post 4 out of 9, imported from the Myron Gaines X, a non-submitted channel created on December 24th, 2021, 20 months before any restriction. And basically all of this is basically just like a copy and paste for the from the policy thing. So this is what they had right here. So this is a screenshot. And by the way, this is the first time I think we're ever seeing this. Because remember, it was a thing of why did they get their channel demonetized, but they never went into detail why. All we saw was Myron go into tears and walk off like he was trying to get a Tony Award. So it says, hi, Myron Gaines. He doesn't even use his real name when it comes to this. It says, it looks like the Akash situation just got even worse. His wife responds, didn't follow community guidelines to keep our community safe, and we removed it, and that's when he received a warning. And then they tell you where it came from, and it said it didn't follow our harassment policy. So this next one right here, it says, hi, Myron. It looks like Myron Cook's Kevin Hart's woke cowardice and exposes fake celebrities, then follow the guidelines for harassment. And then it tells you at the timestamp where it happened. Then right here, it says your channel wasn't accepted for monetization. What should you do next? And it says for harassment. Now, here's the thing. And they're probably going to mention this late. Actually, matter of fact, I'm almost certain that he won't. Look at all the stuff that both of them have put up there as the company, as the brand of Fresh and Fit since they got demonetized. I mean, you had especially Emerald. I mean, this dude, wearing the Klan hood, throwing up the salute, and saying a whole bunch of things. This is after the fact, and you want them to remonetize you? They must not. You know what it is? They thought that, if I'm doing this over on Kick, then it can't cross over to YouTube. Actually, yes, it can. I talked about this a while ago. A lot of these platforms, especially these video-based ones, they talk to each other. They stay in constant communication. So they can, you think that what you're doing on one platform is not going to get to the other, especially with how many times he goes viral doing that nonsense. And you think they're going to remonetize you? And this is what I mean when I talk about they don't take accountability, because you're literally feeding into why they don't have to remonetize you. Before I go any further, a lot of you on my channel might be familiar with the YouTube channel Ant CEO. I actually featured one of his videos on my channel before when I was reacting to it. A few months ago, he ended up getting demonetized on the platform, and he reapplied for the monetization, but he got denied, and he says you can't apply for another 90 days. So what he did was he knew what it was, and he went and he just basically went that 90 days and did the complete opposite of what he was already doing, and basically like cleaned up his, I guess you could say, his verbiage. And 90 days later, he reapplied to be monetized on the platform, and guess what? He got remonetized, and he's still monetized now. I think he got remonetized in December, and it's February, and he still has the monetization. See, what Fresh and Fit did not do was they went and doubled and tripled and quadrupled down on why they got demonetized, and now are running back and saying, why aren't you remonetizing us? Excuse me? And are still doing it. It's like they've learned nothing from almost 3 years ago. And they're still on here trying to figure out why this is happening. If y'all would have cleaned up your act, then you would have got monetized back in the same year that you got demonetized. But no, you wanted to be rebellious. You wanted to try to prove a point. And I said back then, because I did either a live or a video about them getting demonetized, I said they are putting up a front, especially Emerald, that they are fine with being demonetized because they feel like they can go to other platforms like Twitch and Kick and maybe even Twitter to try to get some coins. I said, okay, fine, but you're not going to make the same type of money you were making over on YouTube over there. Here we are in February of 2026, and look at what they're doing right now. They're trying to get their monetization back because they aren't making that type of money over on those other platforms. Rumble's another one. They're not making that type of money over there like they were over here. But they tried to put up a front, and that's interesting coming from Emerald, because I thought he had all these investments. I thought he was this huge multi-millionaire. If you this huge multi-millionaire, then the crumbs you were making on YouTube shouldn't have mattered. So as the youngins say, the math ain't mathin'. You right, Donna, a lot of them didn't follow them over there. They got their bread and butter over here. Why do you think they would stream on one platform and then upload the playback on YouTube? Like I said, with all the stuff they were saying and still are saying, they're lucky that they are still on the platform at all. So here's another one. And then what they did was they went and screenshotted other people talking about the same situation and saying, oh, why wasn't their videos removed? Well, my thing is this. Other people can talk about the same topic. I'm sure there are, listen, topics get recycled all the time. What I've talked about, I'm sure thousands and hundreds of other people have already talked about. It's what did you say in the video that matters and why it was probably taken down. They got comedy shows up here. This is Charlemagne and Andrew Schultz. You got Young Don up here. I'm not sure who this person is down here. Theirs probably didn't get taken down because they didn't go overboard like Amru Fuddle did. And I find it interesting too because, and I didn't pick this up, but this is coming from the Fresh and Fit podcast. But notice in the email it says hi Myron Gaines. So Myron Gaines runs that account. It means it's just as much his as it is Walter's, even though they're collaborating. It didn't say hi Fresh and Fit. It says hi Myron Gaines. Why do you think you have Amber going out there and doing all these extra antics right now? He wasn't doing all of this back in 2023. He wasn't going outside and doing those table interviews. What I don't even say interviews, but those rage bait sessions. That's basically what it is. He wasn't doing all of that, but he is now. And forgive my phone for chiming like that. I'm in a group chat. But yeah, it's most likely what he said about in the topic, and I can just about guarantee that he said something very debaucherous because that's who he is. Same thing here. So here's another. Now look at this, y'all. Hi, Fresh and Fit. Now it says Fresh and Fit. Our team has reviewed your content, and unfortunately, we think it violates our hate speech policy, and we removed the content from the following content from YouTube. This is Nick Fuentes on Ye24, kicked out of Mar-a-Lago by Trump, and more. And right here, this is strike number 2. So let me go through it for you for those who don't know. This is the warning, the first one. This first one with the yellow card is a strike 1. The one with the orange card is a strike 2. The third one with the red card is strike 3, which means if you can't appeal it, your channel is gone indefinitely. Here's another one. They said interview with Andrew Tate, Patrick Bet-David, Alex Jones, and so on. And, oh God, the Whatever podcast, the No Fugazi podcast, and so on and so forth. Like I said, it was most likely what they said, or should I say what he said. Let's see. Now let's get into the comments. Someone said, there's no way Fresh wrote this. Someone else said, YouTube creators, please restore the monetization of Fresh and Fit at Myron Gaines X. Someone said they followed the rules but still can't monetize, so they've gone public to demand answers. Someone said, good job, Fresh need to get monetized. I've seen worse on other platforms. There's no reason they should have been demonetized. Fresh and Fit, this shall be a rectification. They ain't remonetizing them. They said this is actually a lawsuit. Someone says this guy didn't speak a word about the reason why they are demonetized because of Myron, but he also made you speak on the real issues. And that's the facts. The honest to God truth of why they got demonetized is mainly because of Amru Fuddle. Let's be real here. He is the main reason why they cannot make money on YouTube anymore. And his antics, he still continues to be that reason. But that's what Walter had to say. Now let's go into what Amaral had to say, because he said something about this too. Now look at this. Amaral said, enough is enough. Then he said, at Team YouTube, at YouTube creators, and at YouTube. He said, we've been demonetized for nearly 3 years with zero ad revenue, despite Trump winning. What does Trump winning have to do with this? He says, guidelines softening and then bragging about favoring free speech and reinstating banned creators. And again, these individuals who love to talk about free speech this and free speech that still don't know what that term means. It's like, get a dick, I did a whole video talking and breaking down what free speech was. I don't feel like explaining it again. If they don't get it by now, I don't know what it is going to take. He says policy loosened in 2025. They unbanned woo-woo/election misinfo channels and loosened moderation under Trump pressure, but right-wing voices like us, and I have evidence to prove it in the thread below. So here comes another thread. He said they value conservative voices when it suits them, yet we're bleeding money while lefty propaganda flows free. And then they said enough, and he tagged Team YouTube, YouTube creators, Neil Mohan, Jim Jordan, and Donald Trump. Why are you tagging all these people that are not connected to YouTube? What are they going to do? He says, fix this now or admit the bias never died. Retweet if you're fed up. Let's make them feel the heat. So the thread he's referring to is the one that we just went over with Walter. So we're not going to go through that again. Let's see what some of the replies say. Someone says, maybe just apologize and go to a PR tour like Sneeko did. And you know what's so funny? Because that dude is such a fence-sitter. They actually reinstated his entire YouTube account after 2-3 years. He had his whole platform removed, and YouTube just said one day, well, you know what? We think you've learned your lesson. Let's bring you back. And then, but then you see that video with him down in Miami with them guys, and it's like, did he really learn his lesson? He says, but if you drop the Hitler stuff in exchange for higher IQ anti-Semitism, it might work. Someone says, you are bad for business. Advertisers don't want to pay you or put their ads on one of your stash rants. Nobody does. I still can't believe you were a former HSI agent with your level of stupidity. Someone says, Myron, you were good at what you do. No doubt some of your clips, even the Jew ones, make me laugh pretty hard. But from YouTube's POV, you know why they don't want to monetize you. I'm not saying it's unfair. It's fair or unfair. I'm saying they are like a PG-13 site and you're beyond rated R. I've had countless old Fortnite videos demonetized for ish talking randoms and fills from their POV. You are like the worst guy, but yeah, it's BS. I feel you. Someone else said, sue them for discrimination. Has to be a way to sue them in California. Easy, they run ads in your content. How is that legal if they don't share it? Someone says, dude's mad he can't be monetized for being pro stash. Enjoy those super chats. That is your ceiling for revenue for the rest of your sellout life. Well, here's the thing. Excuse me. He can't do super chats on YouTube. He really, as far as online stuff goes, Kick is where he's getting his revenue from, as far as like online platforms. So that's where he's getting his stuff from. Someone says LMFAO talking to a wall. Someone says Myron just get a Kick deal. Sneeko's getting paid hella on KCIP. He says make something happen with Eddie. Like someone said before, he's bad for business. He's tainted. No brand deal worth their salt is ever or should ever want to work with the likes of an Amaral Photo or the Fresh and Fit brand at all. At one point in time years ago, they probably would have when they were, doing their thing and they had cringe moments, but not to the extent where not only has it become cringe, but it has become very annoying. Someone said 383 retweets. I don't think they're feeling it. Someone says you begging YouTube to make money on their platform doesn't sound very alpha, bro. Someone says, well, to be fair, that's private company and they haven't deleted Fresh and Fit. So in my opinion, they haven't restricted the freedom of speech on the channel. And that's a good point. See, they just restricted you from making money. And I talked about this. They've restricted you from making money on the platform, which is their right because they're the ones that's divvying out the checks. They did not kick you off the platform altogether, and that was strategic by them because they said if we kick them off, if we keep them on the platform but don't monetize them, they can't really get us. But if we kick them off, if we demonetize them and we remove them from the platform altogether, they might have something to get us with. So to save ourselves in a headache, let's keep them on the platform, but we don't have to pay them. Now, whether or not they want to continue pushing out content on our platform is entirely up to them. But by law, and because we're a private owned company, we don't have to pay you. Ever heard of the golden rule? That whoever has the gold makes the rule? I don't know if Emerald heard that. Oh, shout out to Watts. There's shout out to Watts TV. He said you constantly complain about being censored, but you want to get monetization back so you can't be censored. Makes sense. Oh, I didn't think about that. They made a whole post talking basically about censorship, but you want to get remonetized on a platform that's just going to censor you some more. That was a very good point. I didn't think of that. Someone says because you guys go way beyond what is acceptable. Someone else says, why not start your own platform? I'm sure that idea has been given to them so many times, but they don't do it. They know they don't have the cachet in order to pull something like that off. Someone says, LMAO, dude, there is no way. I like your content and I watch it, but you know why they won't monetize you. You are beyond controversial. Yeah, like really, again, he's bad for business. Shoot, remember Walter tried to step away and do his own thing? That only lasted, what, one video? Barely that. Someone says, you deserve to be demonetized. Get a real job, you grifting loser. It says, YouTube, keep this dude demonetized. Someone says, I know it sucks, but it might be time for you to just pull your stuff off there and completely say F them. You built the base that will absolutely follow you over to Rumble. If they wanted to follow him to Rumble, they would already did that. If you just explain your reasoning for doing so. I know you got 100K over there already. Yeah, but that 100K over there, it doesn't hit quite as well as the 100K over here. And it goes on and on and on. Like, it's laughable at this point. And all Amber going to do is get on here later on and say something defamatory about black people like he usually does, because that's his coping mechanism. So I don't feel bad for either one of them clowns. They got exactly what they deserve, and I hope they don't make another dime. Well, at this rate, I don't think that's ever going to happen. But I was going to say, I hope they don't make another dime on the platform. But I think we can see that ain't happening. So y'all know what time it is. The link is in the chat. If you would like to come on up. Let me get my timer. I'm gonna give y'all 3 minutes per person, and we will go from there. Wallow, what's going on?
What's going on, Torin? What's going on, everybody in the chat? Happy Black American History Month. This comes back to something my grandmama always taught me. She told me, she said, Walls, point your finger out. I said, okay. I pointed my finger out. And she said, look, you got 3 more fingers pointing right back at you. So what my grandma always taught me is you can point the finger at people for doing this, for the stuff that happens to you, but there's 3 fingers pointing right back at you. And Fresh and Fit, well, excuse me, Walter and Emerald, that's exactly what happened, because You two are to blame for what happened to you. You were the ones going out here, going out in public, acting crazy, acting a fool. That's your fault. That ain't YouTube fault. YouTube saw that and said, "Oh no, we can't have this. We got advertisers. We got money to lose if we keep you two degenerates on our platform." You lost your platform. You lost your monetization. You let the whatever on podcast steal your flow, and they're making more money off of what you did. That's your fault. You ain't got nobody to blame for yourself. And like you said, Torrin, I feel nothing. And I land my plane there. Be one.
Shout out to Wallow for coming up. Let's see, who do we got coming up next?
Heed my command and reclaim these relics of hatred.
Miss Nisi.
Good evening, Torian and family in the chat. Looks like Freak and Fruit Booty need to get real jobs. Be one.
Straight into the point. Shout out to Miss Nisi. All right, next up we got Jonathan. What's going on?
What's going on? Well, that's what they get for doing what they're doing. They know dang well what they did to got to get themselves monetized. Remember how they was making fun of Abba Preach, calling them racial slurs when good plans, all that stuff is what got them monetized. Not because they deserve this. I'm gonna need them to take accountability. At the end of the day, they're whatever black they are, and they're not a part of the PC community. And, and like Ms. DC said, they need to find real jobs because it seems like what they did obviously wasn't a cup of tea. They was horrible, stupid, racist. They was all of that. So my thing is, commerce of pain is a B word. I'm gonna let my plane. He won't.
Did you come on? Wally, you didn't get your wish. Not even close. Not today. But going back to the part where Ms. Nisi said about them getting jobs, they can't get a job. Like I said, their reputation is tarnished. I don't think there's many people that don't know. I mean, think about it this way. I didn't talk about this because I didn't really care to, but there were people that did. So they recently, and by recently, I mean within the last couple of weeks, they went to a club somewhere in Miami while playing a banned song by Kanye West. I'm not gonna say the name of the song, but the initials are HH. And they played it on the bus on the way to the club. And someone in that crew, the crew was Emerald Fuddle, Walter, Sneeko, Nick Fuentes, Andrew Tate, his brother Tristan Tate, and this other clown named Clavicular. And they went to the club, and someone in that crew, and I'm really leaning forward to it was probably Emerald that did it, even though they said Sneeko was the one that did it, that requested to the DJ to play that song, and they played it, and it went viral, and it went all the way and got to the political offices of the city of Miami, like the mayor and everything. Not only did they get banned in that club, they got a nationwide ban from any club because of that. At least Sneeko did. I'm not sure about the rest of them. So if they can get banned from a club nationwide, what job would hire him or them? See, but you want to remonetize yourself? I didn't think about that. That made the news. That made the freaking news. The local news affiliates down there in Miami. You don't think YouTube didn't hear about that? And that happened before, or was it after? I can't remember because it said January 14th. Around the same time, in that bracket. And you thought that you was going to get remonetized? No. But what did Emerald do? Not to take accountability, but he sure went right back on his platform and said how degenerate black people are, per usual. Oh, Mike Mellis John, I'm almost certain he was the one that did it. Because if you look at the video, he was the one that was singing the song the loudest. Scoop said, "What's the initials again?" The initials are HH, and the song is by Kanye West. It's a banned song. Like no club or radio or anything that is supposed to play that song. He said Myron made Walter go talk to the DJ to play that song. And if that's true, like a lapdog, he did it. And if that is true, I'm not surprised. Yep, the DJ got fired. They probably paid the DJ to do it. If I was the DJ though, and I valued my job, there's no amount of money you could have paid me to sacrifice my job. I don't care how much it was, especially since I know I'm making steady good money from that club anyway for playing there night after night. So that DJ is not off the hook either. They deserve to get fired. You knew what it was. You get because the thing is, it's not like they don't tell you what songs not to play. They tell you what songs not to play or a song that is banned. You said, was it worth it? No. Yep, and Mike Mellis, John, all of them are snitching on each other right now. I think Chris Crazy House just did a video talking about it. They are all snitching on each other now. It is not a unit over there whatsoever. Oh yeah, the DJ, he probably not gonna get hired because you gotta think DJs, they don't just a lot of DJs, they don't just DJ at one type of venue. Like a club DJ is not gonna just be a club DJ. They might do weddings, they might do parties. And I heard people who do weddings get paid a lot of money, sometimes more than clubs. Now, sometimes you might have a celebrity DJ that does only like celebrities, and of course, they get paid a lot of money. But again, think about that. You just ruined your career for 20 pieces of silver. I'm sure they didn't even, if they did pay him, they didn't pay him the amount of money he was already getting paid. Oh, yes, Miss Ladybug. I use Emerald's real name. More people should do it. And as a matter of fact, I think that's why a lot of people like the videos I do when I talk about him. When I have his name in the title, they be like, thank you, Torian, for using his real name instead of the one that he chooses to go by. Oh yeah, Lily Gaddis. Remember we talked about her. She got demonetized. And isn't her time coming up where she gets to try to apply to be remonetized, even though I don't think that's going to happen? Because again, she too has tainted herself. Ms. Nikki said all these grown males, not men. No, these are children in so-called grown men's bodies. That's why I say age does not define maturity. All of these guys, with the exception of one, well, maybe two, are in their 30s or higher. Emerald is like a year or two older than me, but he has the mentality of a preteen. Mahanga said I will start using his real name. I highly suggest it. It is what it is. I mean, if they don't get by now why they got demonetized and why YouTube won't, then they never will. And the thing is, like I said, they never took the proper steps to try to remedy their actions. They just added on to it. And for what? Now look at you. Now you up there begging YouTube to remonetize you. And here's the thing. They've been demonetized so long that they would have to work double time to get their revenue back up. So let's hypothetically say that, because I don't know how much they were making per month. Let's hypothetically say they were making $100,000 a month. before they got demonetized. I'm gonna just throw that out there. Let's just say they were making $100,000 a month, which is probably in the range that they were making. They got demonetized in August of 2023. It is now February 2026, and they got denied again in January, which means that they want to apply again. They got to wait an additional 3 months, which is what? That's March, April, May. Somewhere around that region, maybe April, because they applied again right after they got denied. It would take them a long time to get back to where they were once at when it comes to making money, because they haven't made anything from the platform in almost over 3 years. It would take them a long time to get back to that 100K a month, hypothetically speaking. KG said 3.6 million. Again, was it worth it? That's a lot of money per year. That's more than some people who work regular jobs make. You had that right there and you squandered all of it. Could not be me. And like I said, instead of trying to fix your situation, you add on to it and then want to know why. And you put up all these screenshots from all these, these new guidelines that YouTube has, and you still manage to find a way to break every last one of them. You said altogether not yearly. Okay, that's how they mentioned they made cumulatively. Okay. I was about to say then I said that 100,000 might be a little bit on the low end. So that's the life of their channel. Okay. So I might be right with my assessment. And like I said, not one of them has learned their lesson. Walter put all of that stuff out there on Twitter, only to turn right back around probably and do the same exact thing. The consensus is they have no one to blame for this but themselves. They could have fixed this problem back in 2023, but chose not to, because they got so wrapped up in their new grift, and their grift took away their finances, at least the one on YouTube anyway. Then they wanted to play hopscotch between platforms, and some of them got them out the way too. I can't believe that fool actually invoked Trump's name. My goodness. But hey, it is what it is. All right, y'all. I'm about to bring this to a close. I just wanted to come on here and talk about this. I knew this wasn't going to be a long live. Weekly recap is coming tomorrow. Now, that one's probably going to be a lengthy live because I have a lot of things to discuss with that one tomorrow. Usually the first one of the month is usually the lengthiest one because I'm talking about stuff from the last week and this week. Because I didn't have the weekly recap at the end of the month because that's usually the sound off Saturday. I usually don't upload a video on Saturday, but I think I do have a video that I'm gonna put out there tomorrow, mainly because it's a video I want to put out on Sunday and I need to do it in a timely fashion based on something that just happened. So I think I'm gonna have a video for y'all tomorrow as well. Like I said, I rarely upload videos on Saturday, but I don't think y'all will mind either way. So with that being said, we are about to get up out of here. I will talk to you all tomorrow for the weekly recap. It's going to be sometime in the afternoon. I have to shuffle the time around a little bit. It's probably going to be like about maybe 1 o'clock, which should be a decent time. So definitely be on the lookout for that and the video that I have coming tomorrow as well. With that being said, y'all enjoy the rest of your Friday. Be safe, stay warm, but most importantly, be one.